everyone. Let's give it up for the latest running gag, holding each other accountable. Welcome to the relationship theory, everyone. I'm a healer who likes to think out loud. Here, we take thoughts in, we break them down, we build them up, and we play them out. Today, we're going to talk about holding each other accountable. Don't do that. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. So let me just break down a few of my thoughts. When it comes to this, I'm really big on environment. I really am. When I hear statements like, oh, we need to hold each other accountable, it just sounds like the latest buzzword, the latest buzz phrase that we have nowadays, where you just are supposed to know what it means. You know what it means when someone says, oh, I'm holding you accountable. I just want to make sure that you're responsible and that you're doing what it takes to be what you expect to be, or what I expect to be, or what the world expects you to be. It's just another one of those emotional traps and conversational traps too. It doesn't really get you anywhere. How do I know this? Hey, thank you, social media, once again, for proving my points and providing me the knowledge. We use holding each other accountable as if it's powerful. We hold it with such high regard. We hold it with respect. And we're trying to apply this idea that a standard exists. But the last time I checked, thanks to technology, we do not have a standard, not in this kind of environment. Last time I checked in the dating world, we do not have a standard in this environment. We don't. We just don't. And no one's talking about it. This is another one of those things where people are not having a conversation. They're just using something familiar to say what they think they need to say, but they're not applying their own perspective or their experiences to the matter. Do not hold each other accountable. Have you even had a conversation with the person that wants you to have them be held accountable? Have you had a conversation about that? Because this is what it comes down to. Holding someone accountable only makes sense if they agree to the fact that you're going to be doing that for them, and vice versa. But if you're just walking to random people and you're just trying to hold them accountable, if you're just talking to a random person on the internet and you think saying the right thing to them or telling them what you believe is right is holding them accountable, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to need to cover this in a video called emotional osmosis. I'm going to need to specifically cover emotional osmosis. We still haven't gotten past the point where we adapt other people to ourselves. We haven't gotten past the point where we recognize we're projecting ourselves onto other people still. And we're still projecting into our environment who we think people should be. This is narcissism. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's just narcissism. That's not going to work. You still have a need to be right. And you need that need to be validated by other people. And this just isn't going to happen. Holding someone accountable is a high maintenance job. And it also comes with the expectation that you're trying to achieve something. You're trying to go somewhere. If you don't make a specific group for your people to be achieving something or growing or going somewhere, you still are not going to be able to hold anyone accountable. What's going to happen when you try to hold people accountable without any conversation about where they want to be in their life and who you want to be for them in their life and vice versa is more fighting. You're just going to get more argument. You're still going to get more back and forth. You're still going to get no progression whatsoever. And I understand that in our little piece of the world, and thanks to the internet, we get to look into the world and see where things might not fit and might need a bit of adjustment, and we can make this better. But you have to do your own part when it comes to making something better. But that doesn't have to do with holding someone accountable. That has to do with holding yourself accountable. But that's not what we would call it. That would be called just being responsible. If you're holding yourself accountable, all you're doing is being a responsible human being. So how are you going to teach someone else to be responsible? You don't want to hold someone accountable unless you also want to be responsible for their mistakes. And I find that there are a lot of people who don't want to be responsible for your mistakes. They don't want to speak up on your behalf when you hurt someone else. They don't want to have to pay the price for your failure, for your lack of an ability. They don't want to have to compensate. And that's the real scary part behind thinking that you can just hold people accountable and think that that's supposed to be some fancy word for some high standard in our environment, in our communities. It's not. We want to get away from that word. It's called being responsible. And the only person at the end of the day that you would compensate for mistakes and weakness and lack of strength and an inability to do something would be yourself. How many people, and this is the question I have for you today with this accountability, how many people are willing to speak up on someone's behalf when it comes to their failure, when it comes to their weakness? If we want to talk about holding someone accountable, what you're really asking is, and what you're really saying is, being responsible for where they fall short. That's going to be this episode of the Relationship Theory, everyone. I'm here to not to think out loud. Enjoy your day.